A very good evening and welcome to the national broadcast. I'm Marsha Dharmavardhana.
And I'm Tarak Etiarachi. First, a look at the stories making the headlines this evening. All tourists arriving in Sri Lanka from countries heavily infected with coronavirus will be directed to 2 quarantine centres from next Monday. The Prime Minister reiterates that a correct decision should be taken by the people at the upcoming parliamentary election in the interest of the country and the future generation. The UNP to contest the general election under the elephant symbol and Sajid Premadasa through the telephone symbol. A raid on private buses operated without permits. A suspect of the bond scam has been placed under detention. For those stories and more, your top story for tonight: tourists who are arriving from countries where the coronavirus is being spread will be directed to 2 quarantine centres from next Monday. The Ministry of Health says that the Batiklo Private University and the Kandakadu Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre are being used as the 2 centres. The Ministry of Health says that it has been decided at a meeting by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday to establish the 2 centres for quarantine purpose for the tourists arriving in the island. Accordingly, all persons arriving from Iran, South Korea and Italy, where the disease is being spread rapidly, will be subjected to quarantine at these centres. The Batiklo Private University is located at a fairly isolated area. The other centre of the Kandakadu Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre is located in Valikanda. Currently, the centre is being used to rehabilitate those who were misguided due to various reasons. The Ministry of Health says that all necessary facilities for quarantine are present.
Orders given by His Excellency the President and on the guidance from Honorable Minister of Health, we going to set up 2 quarantine centers, one in Batiklo Private University premises and the other one in Kandakadu Treatment and Rehabilitation Center. I must say that both these centers are being prepared, handled and will be maintained by Sri Lanka Army. And I must be grateful to the Army Commander and the Army personnel for doing all this for the benefit of Sri Lanka. And we will be starting operations on 9th, on next Monday, and we will be taking in the passengers coming from South Korea, Iran and Italy. All of them will be taken into these 2 quarantine centers. And the government is arranging whatever possible facilities for them. Of course, it's not an easy task, it's a difficult task, but we have to somehow manage so that COVID-19, coronavirus, would not get introduced to this country and would not spread throughout this country. As we know, as you all know, currently there are so many countries, several countries, where COVID-19 has become a big problem. So therefore, this action is to prevent whatever the calamity that could take place unless we take such measures. And in the meantime, I must say that those Sri Lankans who are going to come to Sri Lanka from South Korea, Italy especially, they are a big segment of Sri Lankan population who contribute to this economy immensely. So therefore, we actually we would treat them in a manner that they are looked after as much as possible. And we see sometimes, especially in social media, certain posts, looking down them and certain criticism over them. But we, as the government and government officials always would appreciate their contribution into Sri Lankan economy. Also, I must say that those who come to Sri Lanka from those countries must tell us the truth about their past history. Of course, with this implementation of quarantine centers, this problem would not arise much, but we had several occasions where due to the fact that those who come from those countries do not reveal the truth, we got into problems.
Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena has taken measures to enlighten the local diplomatic community on the measures being followed by the government to prevent spread of the COVID-19 disease in Sri Lanka today. Foreign Secretary Ravinatha Ariyasinghe, Director General of Health Services Specialist Physician Dr. Anil Jasinghe, representative of the World Health Organization Dr. Razia Narayan Penze have also participated at the meeting to enlighten the foreign ambassadors. It has also been reported that based on a decision of the government of Kuwait, flights with the government of Kuwait have been suspended for a period of 1 week commencing with effect from yesterday. The Sri Lankan Foreign Employment Bureau says that the decision has been conveyed by the Deputy Director General of the Kuwaiti Civil Aviation. As a result of the decision, embarkation and disembarkation of all air passengers from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, the Philippines, India, Lebanon, Syria and Egypt in Kuwait will be provisionally suspended. Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan Airlines has also decided to temporarily suspend flights to China. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the general public should take a correct verdict at the upcoming general election in the interest of the country and the future generation. He further says that the present government has already implemented a vigorous program for the well-being of the country. The Prime Minister has made these remarks addressing a ceremony held in connection with the vesting with people the newly constructed Piliyandala bus stand yesterday. A sum of nearly 430 million rupees has been spent on the construction. The necessary funds have been provided by the Ministry of Urban Development, Water Supply and Housing Facilities. The new bus stand has been erected in place of the old bus stand with the objective of minimizing traffic congestion in the Piliyandala town. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the program to fulfill the pledges will continue. The program to provide jobs to graduates is part of the project to accomplish these promises. The Prime Minister further said that the Election Commissioner has ordered the recruits not to assume duties. The Prime Minister pointed out that this decision would pave the way to pay salaries without any work being done for 2 months. He also said that jobs have been provided without any political differences. Some of the recruits have worked in petrol sheds and others in hotels. He has stressed that all appointments should be made without political bias. The Prime Minister further said that they hope to conduct the Provincial Council election soon after conducting of the parliamentary elections.
General Secretary of the United National Party, Akhila Viraj Karyavasam, has informed the Election Commission that the party will contest separately under the elephant symbol at the forthcoming general election. It has been pointed out that the informing of the UNP's decision to contest on its own by Akhila Viraj Karyavasam at a moment when Sajith Premadasa has decided to contest through a separate alliance reflect a crisis within the party. Opinions were expressed in this regard at several media briefings today. Former parliamentarian Sujeeva Serasinghe says that Akhila Viraj Karyavasam will have to respond to query whether the decision has based on an opinion of Ranil Wickremesinghe. He also said that they have handed over relevant details to Elections Commissioner and talks are irrelevant. Secretary of Jatika Samagi Balawege, Ranjit Madhuma Bandara, said they have already informed the Elections Commissioner that Jatika Samagi Balawege would contest as an alliance. The decision was based on an agreement reached at the working committee.
Minister Bandala Gunawardena says that all those who have fulfilled qualifications for recruitment in the program for provision of jobs for graduates are scheduled to commence training 5 days after the new government assumes power. The list of names of shortlisted candidates will appear in the official website of the Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Councils and Local Government on the 11th of this month. The minister made these remarks addressing a media briefing at the auditorium of the Department of Government Information today. Minister Bandulu Gunawardena said that the Presidential Secretariat has sent letters of appointment of 45,585 recruits. The minister further said that any recruit who has not yet received the letter of appointment need not entertain any doubt of employment. All these recruits will be given government jobs with training. The list of names of recruits could be found in the official website of the Ministry of Local Government and Home Affairs on the 11th of this month. Those who have not yet received appointment letters are able to file an appeal to the Presidential Secretariat in Colombo. The clause included stating that the job would be abolished in the event of not assuming duties within 7 days upon receipt of the letter does not apply. The recruits are being paid a monthly allowance of 20,000 rupees during the 1-year training period. Minister Bandulu Gunawardena further said that all must respect the orders of the Election Commission. The minister added that all recruits would commence training 5 days after the new government commences its duties.
The Port City project says that several foreign companies have expressed willingness for investment in the Colombo Port City. The development program of the project was scheduled to have commenced in the year 2018. However, the work has been stalled for a period of over 1 year. As a result, delays have occurred in the investment procedures. A higher attraction is expected to be added to the project through the new beach front being constructed in one end of the port city, in addition to the internal canalway and a yard for light vessel. Presently, only one such yard for private yacht is available in a harbour premises in Sri Lanka. The Port City project is scheduled to provide manifold facilities to tourists than those provided through the present facility. Facilities will also be available for the stationing of light tourist craft and small boats used exclusively for sports and recreational purposes. Such a yard is expected to take a different format for a harbour in the sense that it does not exchange in the operation of passenger or a cargo transport ship. Creation for an environment filled with blue water in addition to a green pasture would enhance attraction. According to the Index on Development Planning of the Port City, construction are authorized to be carried out only in 60% of land in any block. 74 such blocks of land have been reversed for commencement of project. Preliminary work have commenced on the new road to be constructed on the surface and underground linking the Katunayake Airport, Colombo Harbour, Port City and Kolpiti. The proposed roadway would become a fine solution to the heavy congestion now being experienced in travelling along Nigamba Road and Gaul Road across Colombo City. The portion of the roadway which has originated under the new Kalani Bridge project of Colombo Highway is anticipated to be connected with the port entrance route over pillars. It is also expected to go forward as an underground way starting from Colombo Lighthouse at the Port City. The underground extension would lead a further 1.8 kilometers towards the Lotus Roundabout and the Golf Face Green. From this location, it would come to the surface near the Golf Face Hotel. From this location, the road will be connected to the Marine Drive presently constructed up to Kolpiti. The underground Marine Drive extension is regarded as a best alternative for a severe congestion which is expected to experience with the completion of the Colombo Port City project.
The Criminal Investigations Department has taken measures to arrest relevant persons according to a warrant issued by the judiciary in connection with the bond scam. Accordingly, Colombo Magistrates Court has ordered to place under detention a director of the Perpetual Treasuries Company, Muthuraja Surendran, till the 18th of this month. The suspect arrested by the CID was produced before Colombo Additional Magistrate Priyantha Liyanage. The Additional Magistrate, upon consideration of the facts presented, has ordered to further detain Muthuraja Surendran till the 18th of this month. The Colombo Fort Magistrates Courts has issued warrants yesterday to arrest 10 suspects, including former Finance Minister Ravi Karnanayaka and several directors of the Perpetual Treasuries Company.
The Department of Meteorology forecast showers or thundershowers in several provinces and districts in the island after 2 p.m. tomorrow. The meteorology report adds that showers or thunder showers may occur in central, Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces and in several locations in Kurunegala district tomorrow. It further says that fairly strong temporary winds may also take place at times of thunder showers. The Met Department requests the general public to minimize accidents caused due to lightning. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed to draft a new bill on animal welfare. The decision was taken at a discussion to prevent animal torture and to take measures on animal welfare held with animal welfare societies yesterday. The talks were centered on prevention on animal cruelty and on the existing legislation for prevention of such acts. Attention has also been focused on appointment of Board of Advisors to revise the present-day laws. Officials of state institutes have participated in the discussion.
The Treasury Secretary has been given authority to recover state expenditure, including election costs, for the next 3 months, commencing today. The license of authority in this connection has been issued by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday. The order has been delivered according to the powers vested on the President under the Constitution. Accordingly, the ministries are able to give prominence for the payment of arrears and to engage in other forms of expenditure.
Venerable Galagodatte Gnanasara Thera says that he is satisfied with the action of the Presidential Commission inquiring into the Easter attack. The Venerable Thera was giving evidence at the Commission today. Venerable Gnanasara Thera has arrived at the Presidential Commission this morning and was engaged in delivering evidence for a period of around 6 hours. Venerable Galagodatte Gnanasara Thera says that they must act in a manner not to allow any person to evade. The Thera also said that the Commission appears to act in an appropriate manner and that they are willing to hand over all information to the Commission.
The annual feast of the historic St. Anthony's Church in Kachativu, Jaffna was conducted in a grand scale today. 6,000 Sri Lankan Christian devotees and more than 2,500 Indian devotees have participated in the event. The Kachativu island is located 86 kilometers away from the Kankasanture in a land area of 11.5 square kilometers. Late Prime Minister Sirimao Bandaranaike had acquired the island for Sri Lanka in the year 1974. South Indian fishermen as well as Sri Lankan devotees participate in the annual event with great reverence. The Indian devotees have arrived for the church service in 86 crafts yesterday. Bishop of the Jaffna Diocese, Reverend Father Justin Gnanaprakashan, has officiated the morning service today. The service is being conducted in the Sinhala language as well as since last year. The Sinhala service was conducted by Bishop of Gaul, Raymond Wickramasinghe. The devotees have been subjected to a medical test. The Sri Lanka Navy was in charge of provision of necessary facilities to the devotees. Navy Commander Vice Admiral Pial de Silva says that the Navy has been engaged in provision of services for the past 2 months.
Inauguration ceremony of the International Relations course at the Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies for the academic year 2020 was conducted today. This was held at the BCIS Auditorium in Colombo today. The Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies has been established under the SWRD Bandaranaike National Memorial Foundation.
I'm humbled to stand before you about my experience as a faculty of.
We were all seeing a world which was being bordered with wall. Now we have another problem. Suddenly we were discussing 10 years back a borderless world, globalization. Now the mere fact of people's movement is in crisis. More and more, the changes in the world are seriously affecting us, and you can see it with this particular COVID issue. Nothing is far from us. Everything is coming to us. So it's not just about our elections, our governance. It's about how the world changes and how we respond to it.
It took us 25 years to establish a European currency, and it has suffered a lot. There's been crisis, but we have now a stable euro, and this is essential to withstand economic shock. Now we are in the middle of a new shock with the coronavirus. To have a common currency, spread the risk, and allow the different countries to contribute to that. And that is very, very important for small countries. Everyone thinks EU, everyone thinks France, Germany, Italy. There are many, many countries that are very small. If Sri Lanka was member of the EU, it would be the 6th most populous member state. It would be among the top big member states in the EU.
We also hear about COVID-19 or the coronavirus. What is it really? Is it a virus actually developed in the animals? Bats came to snake and came to humans? Or is it a biological weapon experiment gone wrong? Or is it part of a biological warfare? These are the three possibilities I can think of. There may be others. It came, of course, it really originated in animals came to us, or accident leak of a virus, or a deliberate leak of a virus. Now, the economies of many countries are going to be impacted because of the coronavirus. Many airlines will go burst because they have to cancel their flights and they are now laying on the ground. That may be the future. You're not really fighting with battle tanks and aircraft and ships. If you can release a small quantity of virus or a biological agent, you can bring them down to their knees. The international relations are getting more complicated and more complex.
An operation to apprehend private buses which engage in transporting passengers to the eastern and southern provinces without route permits has taken place yesterday. The raid has been carried out by the National Transportation Commission on the Colombo-Kandy Road. A group of officials, including police personnel and the Director General of the National Transportation Commission, were engaged in the search operation. There have been many complaints lodged at the National Transportation Commission regarding operating of buses without valid permits. Most of the complaints have been received from the eastern and southern provinces. Similar raids have been conducted earlier in the northern province as well. 17 buses were taken into custody in such operations have been produced before the judiciary. The raid on the Colombo-Kandy Road last night was carried out as an extension of this program. Cases are scheduled to be filed against the owners of the buses apprehended. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has also joined the fans in watching the Battle of the Maroons big match between Ananda and Nalanda colleges at the SSC grounds in Colombo today. The two-day encounter had been organized for the 91st occasion. The president, who himself is an excellent Ola Anandian, was engaged in cordial discussions with the spectators. Tomorrow will be the final day of the match. That's all the news we have for you tonight. The national news broadcast will return tomorrow. And until then, a very good night to you all.
Good night.